Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel for another Legacy video. This is 4-color Yorion from Patreon subscriber Hunter. So I attributed a deck to Hunter last week, which was not actually Hunter, it was Josh. So I will jokingly also attribute this deck to Josh. So thank you, Hunter and Josh. But this one is actually Hunter's. Just want to get Josh in the mix here. So this is wBUG Yorion with a little white splash. I'm not sure how deep into a splash we have to go before we call it 4-color Yorion versus like wBUG Yorion with some white. But basically there's 4 Swords to Plowshares and 2 Teferis in this deck. And then Containment Priest in the sideboard. So this deck, you've seen wBUG on the channel before. It's the mid-range, like the rock out of the Legacy deck. Green-black has historically been called the rock. It's named after the wrestler, but it's also an appropriate name because it's so solid. And this is just another deck like that, but it's got 20 extra cards to make it a Yorion deck. So things that make this deck so solid. And we have the Cantrip Suite, the full 12 with Abundant Harvest on top of the Brainstorm and Ponder. And then Life from the Loam and Quandrix's Apprentice. I'm excited to play this card. Haven't put this one in a deck yet. This is a 2-mana 2/2. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this card's pretty dope. That plus Loam should keep the lands coming. Field of the Dead is a win condition in the deck. The Baleful Strix, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, and Swords to Plowshares should keep creature decks largely at bay. Snapcaster Mage should do it all again. Plague Engineer is one of my favorite cards as a blue player in Legacy. I know it's a black card, but it gives blue decks a lot of game against things that it didn't before the original Modern Horizons. And I know a lot of people are sick of this card. It's definitely better than a Magic card should be, but not quite at that ban-worthy conversation. Like, other than Elves players, I have never really heard anyone call for this card to get banned, but it is very, very good in a lot of ways, and I'm excited I get to play it. I did add Endurance to the deck. Hunter sent me this list before Modern Horizons 2 came out, but now we haven't. So I added an Endurance to the main and another one to the sideboard. That's just another pitch spell to beef up your opening hands against combo, and it's just a really good card against Delver as well. And it's just a 3/4 body. So the floor is pretty low on this one. Or pretty high. Yeah, the floor is high. The floor is high on this one. Just being a 3/4 flash is pretty reasonable. Then 4 Urrows, of course. It's a Yorion deck. You play the full boat, and this is what this deck's really about. And of course, Force of Will and Negation. And the sideboard is just normal bug stuff. Flusterstorm, which has a little extra value over the normal because of Quandrix's Apprentice. Like, that one is really interesting. You would just Flusterstorm for 3 and end up drawing 3 cards. Like, that's pretty solid. Blue Elemental Blast. There's been a lot of good red cards in the format lately. Blue-Red Delver is the best deck, or at least the default best deck, the most represented deck right now. The other 2 Plague Engineers, we got the full boat of those. When you want them, including against the aforementioned Rug Delver. Surgical Extraction, I'm lower on that than normal because we also have the Containment Priest and the 2 Endurance, plus the one in the main deck, so Surgical is just an additional safety net. Veil of Summer as a generic good Magic card, and Caracas for those legend-based matchups like Reanimator and Show and Tell. So looking at this list, I kind of want to sneak a Sedgemoor Witch in here. Like, we already have this little Magecraft theme. We could make it a little bigger, though maybe I'm being silly and the plan doesn't need that. I think I'll probably end up leaving it alone, and I'm not going to figure it out live on camera, but by the time we make it to round 1, there might be a Sedgemoor Witch in this 95 somewhere. So while I figure that out, you all prepare for round 1. Let's go do this. I'm on the play in round number 1, and yes, I did add a Sedgemoor Witch. I cut one of the Teferis for it. Figured this this thing on the splash versus testing this interesting creature in the main core colors was worth doing. Anyway, this hand kind of sucks. I mean, it hits its land drops forever, but that's all it does, and it's not really ready to just start loaming, so I'm going to mulligan this. I'm going to keep this one. It's a little thinner on lands than I'd like, but I have 3 cantrips and a ponder, and a Force of Will. 4 cantrips if you count the Strix, which I do. So Yorion's revealed, and I'm going to start with just land go. I guess that's not true. So normally I would land go this position because I would want to give myself to draw a land naturally before I spend cantrips on it. But because I have Ponder and Brainstorm, I think I can afford to use the Ponder to dig now and then get extra looks going into the next turn for Brainstorm. So I am going to push a little harder on hitting land drops than I normally would. Because with Uro, it's especially important. Oh yeah, and sometimes you just hit 2 lands off your Ponder that was looking for lands, so we're in business. I can cast Strix next turn, which gets me through the Ponder. I have Force of Will on the way. Still need a green source to get Uro happening, but that Ponder was nice. Alright, Delver. Okay. So this is a game where we could definitely just lose to Wasteland. Like if they daze Strix, then waste me, flip Delver, crush. I could be in a lot of trouble. But Baleful Strix is a really good card against Delver. I'm going for it. And punished immediately. Is this worth forcing? I'm drawing Abrupt Decay next, but I don't have a green source yet. I'm going to let that go. I'm actually, like, if I had a fetch land or a basic to play and play around Wasteland, I would have just waited a turn on the Strix, because getting into play is pretty important. I was scared of just making my land drop, passing the turn, getting wasted, and just playing the same turn again. But maybe I shouldn't have been worried about that, and I should have prioritized Strix. Alright, that was a really good Brainstorm. So I don't need Force of Will this match. And I'm going to tuck this Underground Sea for now. I probably do still want to draw it. But I'm going to... Ooh, whoops. I committed to Swords to Plowshares when maybe I should have led on Abrupt Decay, because something bigger like Murktide Regent or Gurmag Angler needs a Swords to Plowshares where you can't decay it. But I've committed to this line at this point. I can't just take a bunch of hits from Delver. Okay, they had Spell Pierce. That's another reason to Abrupt Decay, but it'll be fine, I promise. Uro will undo a lot of this work, I hope. As long as we don't get stifled right here. Alright, no stifle, no problem. I'm going to get the Snow Forest and not the regular forest, because as soon as they see snow lands and regular lands both in the deck, they'll know it's a Field of the Dead deck. But I can, for a while at least, maintain plausible deniability and like make them think that maybe Icefang Coatl is in the picture, which it's not, by the way. But it is something I want my opponent to worry about. Okay, so when I put this Ponder on the stack, I was thinking, like, do I leave up Plow or do I leave up Thoughtseize? And I found Thoughtseize. I don't even know if I want Thoughtseize, though. I guess next turn I can Thoughtseize into Uro. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I want to cast Quandrix Apprentice. Thoughtseize them. Alright, I'm not going to shuffle. I'm setting up for the long game here. I could just jam Uro on the stack next turn, but I think taking the time to clear the way makes sense. Like, if Quandrix Apprentice resolves, we're in business. We get to cast Thoughtseize, find the land to cast Abrupt Decay. Oh, okay. That might have just changed my priorities of what I want to Abrupt Decay. I could also... No, I can't Thoughtseize first, because I actually need the trigger. Oh, there was a long pause. I was worried that I was going to get that forced, and I was really not interested in that happening. Because now I can get Abrupt Decay off of this. Yeah, I can fetch... Yeah, I can get my other basic forest, and I'm pretty happy with that. Well, let's see what they're cooking with. Oh, they do have Stifle. Interesting. Right, Force of Will, Brazen Borrower, Abrupt Decay, Fatal Push, Stifle. I think it's Force of Will that I want gone. Like, if they bounce or kill Uro, that's something I can play through. But if they counter it on the front half, that's not great for me. And I think with Uro looming, I do want to Abrupt Decay the Sylvan Library instead of the Delver. And just commit to a longer game here. Ooh, missed. That sucks. Alright, well, Uro's going to start doing Uro things next turn. They need a land if they want to... they can... If they want to, like, cast their Brazen Borrower effectively, they need a land. Alright, there's the Fatal Push. Alright, they did have a land. Now it's time to race, Stifle. They could Stifle the gain 3 life trigger. It's actually, like, kind of scary. Alright, blue, blue, green, green. There's Loam in my deck, but there's not Tarmogoyf, or there is Snapcaster Mage too, so I should slow down a little bit. There is Snapcaster Mage and Life from the Loam in the deck. There are not ways to get creatures back, I don't think. And their deck might have Tarmogoyf in it, so I definitely want to eat the Baleful Strix. Alright, here we go. We have perfect information about their hand right now. Alright, do they Stifle my gain life trigger? I think it makes a lot of sense to do that, yeah. Okay. And then they can decay Uro on their turn, put me to 5. Luckily they're bug over there, so I don't need to worry about like the normal lightning bolt stuff, like once I'm in lightning bolt range. And they can either answer Uro this turn or deploy Brazen Borrower as an attacker. Their hand is Decay and Borrower, so I know I get to Uro this turn. They'll probably bounce it before the attack. Yeah, they're just bouncing it now before I untap with this Force of Will. Good luck. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't get both halves of Uro. I think I want to draw the Uro card before I brainstorm. So green, blue, colorless. Yeah, just have more information available for making that decision later. Ooh, there she is. So if I play Sedgemoor Witch, I don't want to do that now because they have the Abrupt Decay just waiting. Also, she doesn't interact with the Brazen Borrower or the Delver at all in combat. So I'm going to brainstorm with... Do I want to leave up Abrupt Decay or Swords to Plowshares? I have equal amounts of both in the deck. Assassin's Trophy changes the math a little. I'm going to leave up black. Alright, we got there. Got there in a big way. Okay, so I'm going to put back Force and Witch. Make my land drop. And I can Abrupt Decay this Delver. Endurance will eat the Brazen Borrower. I'm just comfortably at 8 life. Or I guess they have Abrupt Decay for Endurance. But I'll get them to point the Endurance at Uro before that comes up. I guess I just failed to play around Veil of Summer, if that's a card that they would have in their main deck. But it's a blowout if they do. Seems unlikely, but I should have just cracked it off. Like, what are they going to do other than that? Other than attack with Delver? I don't know. Doesn't seem very likely. Alright, so I want Tropical Island. I want to beef up my green sources here. Swords of Plowshares, hell yeah. Green, green, blue, blue. Here comes Uro again. Alright, Uro's on the stack. We know they have Abrupt Decay, but gain 3 life trigger is worth something to me. That Thoughtseize came in the wrong order. I am not going to Thoughtseize. That just doesn't seem important. I am going to put Yorion in my hand. I don't think I'm going to lose in the end step suddenly. Like, tapping out of my removal. Like, they deploy Borrower, they untap, they decay Uro, they put me to 7. I still have all of this available to me, but now Yorion's in my hand too. And the Swords to Plowshares on Brazen Borrower gives me the 5th card I need for Uro. This is a very just scrappy, ugly Uro game. Ooh, they're letting me attack. Weird. Okay, they're stifling the trigger. You got it. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. That's one way to use a stifle. So Uro gets in for 6. I have my land for the turn. Swords to Plowshares. This Dinkus. Because of the Abrupt Decay, I kind of did need to Swords to Plowshares that. If I Thoughtseize them now, then they actually have to Abrupt Decay if they want to use it, and then I can just cast Uro again and still get a trigger. Then I can check their hand, make sure it's just a land over there. Alright, there's the Decay, and... ooh, a Daze. Alright, just bring back Uro here. Green, green, blue, blue, and they're scooping it up. Alright, the 4th Uro gets it done, as it tends to do. Okay, so we're playing against wBUG Delver. We've seen Delver of Secrets and Brazen Borrower as threats. Those are both X1s. One of them is a human insect. One of it is a human wizard, and the other is a fairy rogue, I believe. I'll have to look that up for sure, but I'm pretty sure Brazen Borrower is a rogue. Endurance is great. Veil of Summer is literally built to beat bug decks. Flusterstorm is good against Stifle. Force of Negation is not where I want to be against this kind of deck. Force of Will is also not where I want to be against this kind of deck. I want to be in the Flusterstorm Veil of Summer world, not in the Force of Anything world. Don't care about Priest. I don't think I need Surgical. They could have their own Uros. In fact, they probably do have their own Uros. But I have Endurances that can pressure that. I don't know that I care what's in their hand with Thoughtseize that much. Not to play 4 of them, at least. Yeah, this looks like a presentable deck. I could bring in my Caracas to, like, bounce Uro or loop Yorions, but I don't think the game's going to go that long. I think I'm going to stabilize and win, or I'm not. So, here we go. So this is a 1-lander, but I'm going to keep it. I'm on the draw with multiple Ponders. This is the type of hand that can definitely just lose to a Wasteland, but let's hope that doesn't happen. They have a turn 1 Delver. Clock is on. Alright, that's not the land I was looking for, but it is something at least. Alright, yeah, Ponder's hooking it up here. I'm going to put the Abrupt Decay in my hand and draw the Flooded Strand. I hope they don't have Wasteland, because my Flusterstorm lines up really well against Stifle, but if they waste me, then that's not true. They got a Ponder of their own. They did not shuffle, and they have Wasteland. Splat. You got it. Alright, Delver's coming in. But I have 2 lands to make, at least, here, and I don't have to play around Stifle. I can continue to develop non-basic lands, continue to get punished by Wasteland, or I can just try to get set up despite of Wasteland. But that doesn't cast the spells in my hand. Alright, I think I'm gonna just lean in. Let's go. Ponder. Just hope they don't have 2 Wastelands. If I can cast this Flusterstorm one time, or the Life from the Loam one time, it's gonna undo this entire Wasteland game. But the Delver bearing down does mess with the math a little bit, or changes the dynamic of that race, is what I was trying to say. Alright, so they have revealed Abrupt Decay off their Delver, and they have a Tarmogoyf. Alright, so Delver's getting in. Casting Thoughtseize when you're getting beat down by Tarmogoyf is kind of scary, but I could cast Life from the Loam instead. That doesn't change the size of Tarmogoyf, does line up my land drops for the next few turns. I could just Abrupt Decay one of these creatures. Yeah, that's probably the play that I should make. Right, I'm gonna get Tropical Island, or do I want Savannah? Like, I need green for Abrupt Decay, but do I want to get white under me or just keep my blue flowing? I'm going to get Tropical Island. There's no rush on the white mana. Like, I don't have any white cards in my hand. Casting blue cards when I draw them is going to be pretty important. So I'm going to stick with this plan. Now it's time to not die to this Delver. Yeah, that Abrupt Decay put creature and instant in the graveyard for the second Tarmogoyf. Don't love that. Ooh, Endurance. I do love that. That can change the size of Tarmogoyf quickly. Unfortunately, I have to play Loam. I guess I don't have to play Loam at all. I could Thoughtseize them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thoughtseize seems a little reckless, but am I winning this game without it? Is the real question. I need to get Endurance into play. So, alright, I'm gonna Thoughtseize them. We're getting crazy here. Alright, they have Plague Engineer and Abrupt Decay. I'm gonna take the Decay, play Field of the Dead, and I'm probably just dead, but I'm doing my best here. The second Tarmogoyf was a huge beating, just this amount of damage coming in. So I could evoke Endurance. How much damage would that save me if I do it? So they have instant, creature, land, sorcery. They have all 4. I can shrink it by 1. That's not enough. Alright. I'm just going to take my beats here. I'm at 2. And if they play this Plague Engineer, it's another lethal threat, and I basically don't think I can win. Oh, they can play Plague Engineer and Delver. But instead they did not. Swords to Plowshares. Way too slow. Alright, yep. Just buried by that Wasteland on turn 1. So time for game 3, where we get to be on the play. Yeah, I don't think anything changes. Same deck. No new information. In we go. Alright, I get to play on basic lands. For at least a little while. I'm in. So if I start on Forest, it means that I can't play turn 2 Baleful Strix, but I don't want to play turn 2 Baleful Strix into Daze anyway. So that's not really a worry. I would like to play it on turn 3, ignoring Daze. And they can't waste me along the way up there. Ooh. Just Island Go, huh? That's all the respect I get. Alright, Verdant Catacombs, pass. If we dance around Stifle, like if they stunt their development by holding up Stifle, that favors me in the long term. Like I'm just gonna sit here and make land drops for as long as it takes. Alright, another land drop has been made. Like if they waste or Stifle, I can turn around and loam them. If they crack this fetch land in the end step, I'm gonna brainstorm and fetch in response. Just to get around the Stifle. They know better than that though. There's basically no reason to do that. In Legacy, where you have actual dual lands and not shock lands, fetching in your upkeep after you've untapped is almost always functionally identical and better than doing it in the end step while you're top low. So they get a mana off Carpet of Flowers in the second main. For a Delver, you got it. Let's go to my turn. Alright, Uro is here. I like Uro. I'm going to start with a Brainstorm. If I can find Flusterstorm to fight over Stifle, or just enough lands to ignore the entire game completely, just not interested in the Stifle game, that works for me too. So, Life from the Loam is a card I want at some point. Is that point right now? And I don't think the answer is yes. So I'm going to put back these two. And I think I'm more worried about Delver than Carpet. Though, maybe not. And I have this Baleful Strix here for the Delver. And Baleful Strix, Teferi, and Uro all do stuff against Delver. But if they just start casting a million spells a turn while leaving up Stifle, that becomes a little scary. Yeah, I'm going to pick off Carpet. I'm going to do it in their upkeep, though. So they fetched. That's fine. They still have Stifle up, so I can't keep fetching around that. Oh, that's a... Oh, they're aggressively trying to flip their Delver. Okay, you got it. So Veil of Summer is a card they could have in their deck right now, which makes me want to fire off my Decay now, especially now that they're tapped low. I don't know what they would try to do in response, but if they do anything, I get to fetch. And now they've brainstormed thinking they were going to have a bunch of carpet mana, but they don't. They revealed Ponder off of Delver. So hopefully that messed them up, at least a little bit. And I can play Strix well around Daze this turn. I have a Veil for Abrupt Decay if they try to kill the Strix once it's in play. If I get a 2-for-1 off a Force of Will, I'll Veil that too and just make it a 3-for-1. They have 4 cards left in their hand. Delver's coming in. Taking my first damage of the game on turn 4. That's a good place to be. Alright, so blue, black. A little awkward that I only have Forest up, but that does cast the spell I need it to. Alright, I'm not ready to fetch into a Stifle yet. I can do that next turn with the Loam ready to roll. And now they can ram their Delver into my Strix, or they can run their Abrupt Decay into my Veil. Oh, you also have Baleful Strix in your deck. Interesting. That's cool. So they might be a little more mid-range, or at least they have mid-range options in their Delver deck. No attacks from them. Okay, so I can just start the Uro thing. So they have 2 lands available right now. If I play this land and fetch, if either of the fetches works, then I can Loam. Maybe I should just Uro first, but if I fetch first, Uro can... Alright, I'm going to fetch. Show me the Stifle. You've been holding it up the whole game. Okay, so they're fetching in response. There was no way to get around double Stifle here. Alright, I'll fetch the other one in response. This at least represents a Flusterstorm, which I don't have, but that's okay, because I have Loam. This was all a master plan to pull ahead with Loam. Okay, and then I'm not going to Abundant Harvest because that puts down my Veil Shield. That was an investment in the future. I got 2 Stifles out of their hand. It cost me 2 lands, but I picked those lands right back up. As long as the game goes long enough, my card advantage is real. Oh no, they have Spell Pierce. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. That was bad too. Okay, so fetching me off of those, or stifling me off of those fetch lands did matter a lot. Okay, it's fine. Uro's coming. Big Daddy Uro's going to come clean this up. They're down to 2 cards in hand. 1 card in hand. And I'm taking 4 down to 11. No big deal. We got this. I am not going to dredge Loam. Not yet. Not the plan. So, green, blue, colorless. Here comes Uro. Start doing all the work. I don't want to dredge Loam. I put in Polluted Delta. Let's see if they have a Stifle. Alright, no Stifle this time. I'm going to get Savannah and Basic Swamp, I think. Or I could just get Scrubland, just lean all the way into having all my colors. Yeah, that makes sense. 1 card left. I'm going to get this Engineer on the stack. If their last card is Daze, then they're Hellbent, and we can clean up with Uro. I'm going to name... This is a bird, right? I'm just going to kill the thing I can kill. If their last card is Abrupt Decay, I want to at least get a card off of this before it's gone. And that takes the pressure off the board, so Teferi can effectively bounce Delver next turn. Ooh, Leovold. Alright. Maybe I'll have to bounce that one instead. Delver is getting in for its damage, as it does. And then it's my turn. Is it time to dredge Loam? I don't think so. Yeah, a land is exactly what I was looking for, because now I can Teferi, bounce Leovold, and then Uro. So, white, blue, colorless. I can fetch a blue source with this Polluted Delta for sure. First appearance of Teferi in the match. And if they are holding Abrupt Decay or like even Daze or anything, like any instant, now's the time. Because Teferi is going to make it not an option anymore. Alright, Teferi's in there. I'm going to send Leovold. They get to draw a card off it. But that's going to be okay. Because it will guarantee Uro gets to arrive and draw cards. I think no, I still don't want to Dredge Loam. I'm still looking for answers to specifically this Delver. Alright, I found a land that can cast Uro just naturally, and I can put in the Polluted Delta. Alright, Loam is in action right now, so Veil, Strix, one of the lands, Abundant Growth, and actually I'm just going to eat the lands because Loam can find more lands to pick up, and I have the other fetch land in my hand right now. So I'm not... like, I'd rather have Snapcaster Mage be good if I draw it than worry about high power Loams. So drawing Ponder gives me something to cast here. I could Harvest for a non-land, or I could just Ponder. I don't think leaving up Flusterstorm is the answer. Oh, I should definitely Ponder because I know they have Leovold in their hand. That makes sense. No Shuffle. Don't Dredge Loam. I actually do want that Swords to Plowshares. And Abundant Harvest doesn't draw cards. That gets around Leovold. That's freaking sweet. Okay, so I feel like I'm ahead right now. These mystery cards in their hand are going to have to be really good. I have an answer to Leovold. They have to spend a turn attacking Teferi. So I just gained 6 life, basically, with the Uro coming into play, plus the Delver bearing down on Teferi. Leo's back. Alright, don't dredge that. And I'm going to Abundant Harvest for a spell. I'm building up Storm for the inevitable. If I have to protect my swords with Flusterstorm. Alright, put that card into your hand. That's what I wanted to hear. So I'm going to say non-land for this. Ooh, Quandrix Apprentice. Hell yeah. Oh, the Storm is 4. Alright, so I'll make my land drop. And here we go. Alright, so they get to draw a card from Leo. And then if I Flusterstorm, I'm just going to put every land in my deck into my hand. That's dramatic. That's not true. But it could be like up to 5. Alright, Leo's just gone. I'll take that. Then, do I get to attack? Or do we have Abrupt Decay? Oh, it's not Abrupt Decay. It's Petty Theft. Oh my god. Let's draw 5,000 million. Are we getting GGs in the chat? GGs. Yeah, good games. That was nice. On the draw in round number 2, I have a Harvest and a land that can cast it. It's a 1-lander, but that's alright. Surely not everyone in the queues is playing Delver today. Let's see where this goes. Alright, Ponder off of an Underground Sea. This could be Bug or Grixis Delver, but I think it's more likely it's a combo deck. They did not shuffle their Ponder. So I would like to Harvest for a land. That's how I'm going to start this one off. I would really like to get this Thoughtseize on the stack before it's too late. One way or the other. I would like to know what they're up to. Another Ponder. I do have Force Will. Force and Thoughtseize against combo decks is basically the best I can hope for in game 1 with this 80 card value pile. Another Harvest is pretty good. Let's hope they're not a Stifle deck. They're going to get me real good if they are. Alright, so I don't think I need white mana yet. I'm just going to get Underground Sea and cast my Thoughtseize. See what you're working with. They're fetching in response, maybe to hide something with a Brainstorm. Maybe they have Flusterstorms or Veil of Summer even. Ouch. Okay, so if they're a Veil of Summer deck, I think I want to force this. Pitching Apprentice. Yeah, I wasn't going to be able to count on that Force of Will anyway. So, I mean, Wishclaw Talisman is the take, but they are all dressed up if they find somewhere to go. Yikes. Okay, so I think I want to ponder more than I want to abundant harvest right now. Okay, so I don't need a second Uro. I'll take this land for now, but I do gotta basically just hope that I don't die while I continue to develop here until I find a second counterspell. Alright, so I know Uro is my next card. I think I should get on board this turn. So I think I do want the Savannah this time. Or Tundra, is that better than Savannah? No, Savannah's better because it casts Uro. Is there a Savannah in the deck, or did I make that up? There is a Savannah, but Polluted Delta can't fetch it. Okay, I've caught up. I'm on the right page now. Maybe it's just Bayou. I'm off the white mana, forget about it. Okay, so I got Bayou, and I think I just want to Engineer. Though Uroing sets up the Uro for next turn if I find any land. So I should probably Uro. This puts the most relevant clock onto the game. Because I'm basically just racing their top deck right now. Uh-oh. That was a really good draw. One thing I could have done that I did not consider until now is knowing that their hand is double Lion's Eye Diamond, I could have held my Assassin's Trophy to target one of the Lion's Eye Diamonds with. Okay, I'm getting my thoughts seized. I imagine they'll take Abundant Harvest. Yep. Am I dead? I'm not dead. Yet. That second Swords to Plowshares was not what I was looking for. Alright, so I'm just gonna pass. Sad times. Alright, another Ponder. I'm not ready to fire off Trophy on a land. So I could Trophy a land in this end step. Still don't think that's good though. Alright, Ponder is good. I'll take that. Alright, let's go, Ponder. Find me something good. Just gonna shuffle this. Brainstorm is the great savior. Get rid of these Swords to Plowshares. Give me real cards. And I am just gonna tap out for this Sylvan Library right now. And they've been sculpting. If they have it, they have it. But I'm not gonna win this game. Like, they've just sculpted so much better than I have the last few turns. I need to untap with this library and get to work if I'm gonna win this game. Uh-oh, they have a Talisman. They know I have trophies, so they should make their move right now. I don't think I'm surviving this turn. Right, so they're wishing before they're deploying their LEDs. That's interesting. And they clearly have some sort of plan. But, alright. Ball Ritual, so they're just going to Ad Nauseam, I guess. And then they'll LED in response to the Ad Naus. Ouch! Okay, I mean, here it is. Here it comes. There's Infernal Tutor. Brainstorm. Dark Ritual. Infernal Tutor, LED, yeah. They have enough here. I'm dead. Yep. I am not gonna concede, I guess. I'll give them a chance to mess up or do this wrong or I don't know, whiff somehow. But or at least show for the camera what this Storm deck does. Oh, Infernal Tutor with the LED. Storm is 11. Now they just get Tendrils and they drill me 10 times or more. Okay, so that's what losing to Storm looks like. We had, like I said, basically the best start the deck's capable of. I had a Thoughtseize and a Force of Will. They were just able to work through it because I couldn't pressure them. And that's always the rule against Storm decks, like, or combo decks. Like, you can disrupt them all you want, but if you're not actually winning the game while their shields are down, it doesn't matter. Okay, Light from the Loam and Swords to Plowshares don't matter in this matchup. So those are going to come out. I'm bringing in my Flusters, Veils, Endurance, and Plague Engineers. Plague Engineer can answer Empty the Warrens if they end up taking an empty line, or if they have things like Xantid Swarm or Hope of Girapur. Plague Engineer is just a sideways answer to those. Flusterstorm and Veil speak for themselves. Just you can't get Tendrils if you have Veil, and Flusterstorm really good against Storm, of course. And Endurance, they care about their graveyard. They have Cabal Rituals and Past in Flames, at least, that care about their graveyard. All right, I gotta cut 2 more cards here. Probably Teferi is one of them. And maybe I don't need all 4 Plague Engineers. Oh, I want Surgical Extraction. What am I doing here? Almost missed that one. I'm asleep at the wheel. We've also seen red mana out of them. So maybe I should just max out on all this stuff. Like, we didn't see Rite of Flame or Burning Wish, but we did see a red land. And even countering Past in Flames can be backbreaking. So, now I gotta cut more cards. The Assassin's Trophies, or Strix, is pretty bad, actually. And I don't need all 4 Uros. So this is gonna be my plan. Endurance has a big beefy body that also has flash, which is just really nice in the Storm matchup. Even when you're not actively blowing them out with the Graveyard Hate mode on that, just putting a 3/4 into play at the end of the turn is a big deal. Oh no, this hand is like green or like blue source. If this was Underground Sierra fetch land, I would just be doing a victory lap, but can't keep this one. Jeez, come on, deck. Not like this. Alright, I'll keep this one. Alright, keep and send the, I think Scrubland. And is it Abundant Harvest? That's my cantrip. Yikes, this is bad. Surgical. I'll just keep the 2 Flusters. That doesn't beat Veil of Summer, but if I can get both of them up, maybe it does. The Antid Swarm. Shit. That's the thing I said. Alright, so I need to get Tropical Island off of this. Cast this for a non-land Plague Engineer. Alright, maybe next turn. And I need to get Bayou and then cast this for a land. Okay, so they have the turn 2. They win. But I can answer their Xantid Swarm. But it probably doesn't matter. The Xantid Swarm in there. And is that the game? Or they could just Thoughtseize my Plague Engineer and not worry about it. Bad news. Alright, Baleful Strix at least. Does it do anything? Blue, black, blue, black. I don't have any white cards in my deck, so I might as well play the Scrubland, and in case I draw Thoughtseize off of Strix. Alright. So, they don't get free attacks with Xantid Swarm anymore. When they make their next Xantid Swarm attack, they better win. So they brainstormed. They're attacking. That must mean that they're going to win. So they wouldn't just put their Swarm in the graveyard for no reason. Brainstorm must have found what they were looking for. If I had the blue mana to fluster the Brainstorm, I would have, because obviously it's not going to get anything else. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. LED. Ad nauseum. Just the raw dog ad nauseum. Didn't even need a tutor for it. Off we go. So this could fail, but it's not likely. Ooh. They just took 5 off Ave Progenitor Ooze. That's not what they wanted to do. So they'll have to stop at 4. Like, they currently can't get their hand empty. And okay, so they stopped. Is this deterministic? Or are they just making many oozes? They need another green source to make more oozes. Oh, whoops, they just said in the chat that they processed that they had LED, but they cracked it before the ad nause. Yeah, so in their head they still had LED in play, but obviously they don't. So now they have to audible onto Preordain finding something good. They bottomed both. That's good for me. Here comes the Ponder off of the Lotus Petal. So they have 5 black to work with. Oh, they found LED. Good save. Alright, yeah. They found an LED off their Preordained Ponder with enough mana to still Tendrils. So they made a little mistake, but bounced back from it just fine. Combo decks are going to be tough matchups for this Bug Yorion deck. But good games. They played well. Next round. On the draw in the third round with a triple Thoughtseize hand. I'm going to keep this. It doesn't really do anything else, but maybe it won't have to. Uh-oh, this is where I just get stifled and the game ends, and I never get to Thoughtseize anything. Let's hope that's not the case. Alright, cool. We're going to get to Thoughtseize at least once. Show me your thoughts. Right, they're fetching in response. This could be a Brainstorm to hide stuff, could be a Spell Pierce. Could be a Float Mana and Daze. Alright, it is the Brainstorm. And does my Seize resolve? It does. Alright, so, oh god, there's a Wasteland. Lightning Bolt or Force of Negation? What am I worried about? Definitely Lightning Bolt. I don't like that Wasteland that I just saw. That gives them a lot of control over this game. If they hit a Delver with that Brainstorm, like if they can go Delver Wasteland here, that's just abysmal. Okay, that's not what happened. Let's draw a land. Or an Abundant Harvest. Uh-oh. 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 Was there another Wasteland hiding under that Brainstorm? I could just force this and try to keep them off of anything for a while. I think I'm actually going to have to do that. Because if this Ponder finds Wasteland, I'm so dead. I can pay for Daze. They can't Force of Negation. That was hyper aggressive. And they should know that I don't have a land based on that. Alright, deck. Come on. Let's put a land in my hand so I can put Library on the stack. Always had it. Easy game. Yikes. So I am actually going to take a turn off of Sylvan Library to Thoughtseize them again. I know they have Force of Negation. And if they can remove my library, that's bad. So let's just get their hand back down low. They've worked through their Brainstorm. They are drawing wild at this point. Oh shit. Alright, jeez. Alright, well that was really good. That was the best draw. That was probably better than a Delver as far as draws go. But I keep having good ones too, so continue counting it. I could Thoughtseize the Daze, or I could just wait. And I think I'm gonna wait. I'm done taking damage for no reason. Let's just draw a land and easily resolve Sylvan Library, then win the game. One more time. Alright, I'll take that. They can Daze my Brainstorm to at least turn off the shuffle, but that doesn't even seem very good. Alright, now we're in business. Still playing around Daze. I'm gonna draw that Flooded Strand next turn. And then I can Library or Strix, depending on what I would like to prioritize. This Assassin's Trophy can remove whatever their threat is whenever they find it. Okay, I think we're through the worst part of this. I'm not counting my win yet, but I do think we're out of the worst part. I'm gonna fetch. Do I start fetching basics here? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go for the library first. Alright, let's just get that under control. Alright, Force Pitching Daze. Alright, we got a Hymn to Turok out of it. And the Daze is gone, so now I'm gonna jam Strix and hope they didn't have 2 Dazes. We know Mountain is 1 card. They have 1 mystery card. Do I want to get the white? If I get Tundra, then I have all my colors. I'm not even close to Uro. Or I guess I have my green source away from Uro. Yeah, alright. Alright, please don't have Daze. Okay. I actually think the best play is to wait a turn and just make sure they don't have Daze on the Strix. But I was impatient. I wasn't punished this time, but I'm under no pressure. Like, it's definitely just right to get the guaranteed without moving in on Strix. So Strix is going to attack, though. And I'm just going to put Yorion in my hand. I'm not going to play the Engineer, because if they have Lightning Bolt in their hand, if I play Engineer now, they can just bolt it. But if I wait, then... Okay, they're taking me off white. That's fair. But if I wait, then I can at least kill a Delver before they can bolt it. Like, it comes into play, name human, Delver dies, and then they can bolt it, and I've already gotten a card out of it. Alright, Strix coming in. A Field of the Dead is nice. They just fired off their third Wasteland of the game. Oh, here's number 4. Wow, going after Field I don't think is right. Like, I'm pretty far away from Field, and it doesn't tap for a color that I care about. I probably would have gone after a different land than that. So here comes Strix. I think at this point I do want to cast the Plague Engineer. So I'm gonna name Human. Human gets Delver and Dragon Rage Channeler. Fairy gets Sprite Dragon and Brazen Borrower. Like, those are the two big creature types against blue-red. Alright, they're just conceding. Cool. But, yeah, I haven't seen any creatures out of them. Maybe this is some sort of creatureless Izzet control deck, but I'm fairly confident that's not the case. Alright, so here comes these things. The Hydroblasts are coming in. Cluster Storms are coming in. There's options on Veil of Summer, though I don't think it's super important. So the Force of Negation's definitely out. Force of Will's out. Yeah, I do want all the Force of Wills out. Now, Thoughtseize against the deck full of Lightning Bolts. This is the same sideboard plan that we saw in round 1, I think, where I basically have all of this fair stuff and fewer Thoughtseizes, and the rest of the stuff is the same. Oh, Veil of Summers came in round 1 because they were bug with Abrupt Decay and stuff. I don't know if I need Veil. Like, would I rather Veil than Thoughtseize, I guess is the question. And probably. Like, Thoughtseize encourages play patterns where I fetch non-basic lands. So I think I would rather react to what they're doing most of the time. Alright, Veil Summer it is over Thoughtseize. So my hand on the draw here is about as cold as ice to Wasteland. It has Abrupt Decay and Brainstorm, though, and the field. I'm actually going to keep this. This is the type of hand where I could just, like, play Field of the Dead and pass, which obviously I'm not excited about. Uh-oh, I can't do that anymore. Shit. Alright, Ragavan's scary. Let's just draw a fetch land. Alright, easy money. Okay, so I'm going to get hit by Ragavan once. That's fine. And then I will Abrupt Decay the Ragavan on a following turn. So here comes the monkey. They get a hit. They exiled Snow-Covered Swamp. Okay, so that is the only basic swamp in my deck, and now it's gone. Just have to consider that for future fetching. They had a Ponder second main and hit their land drop. Okay, Bayou is pretty sweet. Black, green so I can get Trop. Okay, so I'm going to play the Bayou, pass the turn. I'm not going to decay the Ragavan now. I'm going to do it in combat because if they have a second one, I don't want them to be able to dash it. If they have Stifle, I'm fucked. Alright, they didn't have Stifle. So I want to fetch green sources because this Endurances and Uros are going to be hungry. So I'm going to decay this Rag. It's out of here. And they're fetching. And Narset. That's a powerful card. Cool. They definitely have, like, sort of a bigger side to their deck that is pretty sweet. And by sweet, I mean horrible for me, but there it is. I'm still going to Uro this turn. Gaining 3 life and getting the extra land drop are both of value to me. Like, getting Endurance out ahead of Daze is a big deal, because Endurance is how I'm going to kill this Narset. Field of the Dead goes into play. Tapped on a turn where I wasn't going to use it anyway. And they missed their land drop last turn, so I can pull ahead, like, pretty far here if they have to spend a turn iterating and don't add pressure to the board. Oh shit, Surgical. There's an Uro in my hand right now. Let's see if they fire that off right away, or if they want to... Or they should wait for my draw step. That's the right time to do that. Alright, so they hit their land drop off of iteration. Surgical right now. They get an Uro out of my hand too, obviously. That wouldn't matter at all if I didn't also have one in my hand. That sucks. The good news is they didn't play Wasteland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm on 5 lands that can... I'm 5 lands out of 7 to start making zombos. I can also just wish for Yorion if nothing else happens. Or I can Abrupt Decay this Narset and cast Brainstorm. All of these things are on the table. I think I just want to pass the turn, though, because they know about the Endurance. Let's see if they make any different decisions based on that. I guess if I want to get ahead of a Murktide region, I should probably Endurance proactively. Alright, Sprite Dragon. So they know about Endurance. If they're attacking with Sprite Dragon, they obviously have Force of Will. So would I... Yeah, I mean, I guess I would rather have Endurance forced than the Snapcaster Mage. But Snapcaster Mage also gets got by Red Blast, which might be a card that they have. I mean, it's still a 2-for-1, I'll take it. They're pushing their damage with the Sprite Dragon while they have it. So I guess I'm going to have to Abrupt Decay Sprite Dragon now and hope that Snapcaster can kill Narset. Which doesn't seem like a good plan, but... Or, it doesn't seem like a likely plan. It's a fine plan. It at least takes damage off the board. Oh, Tropical Island. Why do you have the same name? When is the correct time to cast the Snapcaster Mage? That's the... Oh, I probably was main phase with Tropical Island still in my hand, so I could Brainstorm, but... Oh, no, because Narset is the problem. Alright, I take it all back. I'm out of control right now. I think I'm just going to go for the Snap now. There it is. If they have Red Blast, they're going to have Red Blast on their turn too. The only thing I could really hope for was move to my end step and they fetch and I can Snap then. Alright, so one of the pros of doing it in my main phase is I can wish for Yorion now. But this Sprite Dragon is a problem. I'm going to die very quickly to that. Oh, they had a Wasteland, so now Field of the Dead is off. If they even care. Like, they seemed pretty focused on Field of the Dead last game, but that's my least important land. Until it's winning, it doesn't do anything. Like, I probably would have gone after the Scrubland with that Wasteland if it was me, because that also sets me back a turn on the field. Murktide Regent, so... Now, basically, what do I need to do? I need to Swords to Plowshares, Murktide Regent, and then also still be alive to kill the other thing. Yeah, this Narset has been an enormous problem. I guess I just have to cast Yorion and lose to Red Blast or Daze, but I don't have another play. Alright, Yorion's in. It's just chump blocking. Oh, that's bad. They have a Ponder. Alright. I'm done. I don't need to keep playing this game. Narset was too big of a hurdle. Like, Narset denied a draw off of Uro, and then Surgical clipped a second Uro from my hand, and this Brainstorm was just locked here. So I just lost 3 cards over the course of the game, and being down 3 cards to this plan is not going to work for me. So that's out. Alright, so the Hydroblasts do play. I think that I would rather have Thoughtseize than Veil, having seen cards like Narset available to them. Yeah, just having a little more proactive ability makes some sense to me. Then I'm going back in with the same deck otherwise. My hand can cast Ponder. It doesn't have white or black, which is like the color of every non-Ponder card in my hand, but I am going to keep this. It could go poorly, or I could find a fetch land immediately and be totally fine. We'll find out. That's the strength of Ponder. Ponder's on the stack, found fetch land and Abundant Harvest immediately. No sweat. Always had it. They want to play a Wasteland game. That's fine with me. I'm extremely well set up for a Wasteland game this game. So I can play basic and then harvest for a land right now. Found another Trop. They have a Delver. There is no planes in the deck, no basic planes. The basics that the deck has are just the bug ones. All of the anything that can cast Plow will also be able to get wasted, but I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the... What are you targeting? Are you shitting me? Just extracting Tropical Island when I happen to have one in my hand? That play is not good, but it's gonna punish me here. Oh, no, wait, no, did they see it? Did they see it? Okay, no, they did. Okay, I take it back, I take it back. That play was actually great. They saw the trop, so they could strip one from my hand. Okay, I take it all back. That was a knee-jerk reaction to people who think that, like, Wasteland Surgical is a plan, and it's just not. Like, that's not good play. But this one, taking that land when they know that I just wished for it, that was actually really tight. Nice play, opponent. I'm going to get the scrub land here, which means I don't have blue mana, but I do have black and white for all the cards in my hand. And there are no more Tropical Islands in my deck, so don't get to fetch those anymore. Yeah, so if they have, like, Force and Wasteland, I could just be long gone out of this game, never had a chance. And they have perfect information, so I don't need to bluff anything. Oh, they're playing on no lands. Alright, come on, deck. Keep it coming. Always had it. So I think I have to get Underground Sea here to get my colors. And I have to assume I'm going to get Dazed, so I'm going to lead on Sedgemoor Witch, because that's the one I care the least about if it gets Dazed. But I do need to cast spells. I'm not going to, like, hope to beat a Daze by, like, skipping land drops when I'm hurting for lands against a Wasteland deck. That's not my plan. Though if I draw a land and I can play around Daze with these two cards I'm actually super interested in resolving, that's good for me. Alright, so they forced pitching Expressive Iteration. So if they forced, it means they don't have Daze. You don't cast Force of Will if you have Daze, and that's just a fact of life. Delver didn't flip. Let's hope that it didn't flip. Let's hope that they didn't draw Wasteland. Okay. So they drew a creature they couldn't cast. I'm going to go for Plague Engineer now. They didn't have Daze last turn. Alright, Delver's gone. They don't have Daze this turn, they don't have Force. And Teferi can come down next turn. Grafdigger's Cage, I don't care. Yeah, we're pulling ahead of this one. Now I can play around Daze anyway. Teferi's in play. I'm just going to bounce Cage, not because I care about it, but because I do want to draw a card before they're able to just Red Blast my Teferi for no value. I guess I have Blue Blast for Red Blast, so I didn't need to commit to that. But, alright, wow. They went for the Wasteland Surgical play, the rarely seen, rarely correct Wasteland Surgical play, but I was able to dig out because they ended up mana screwed and not me. Wow, that was a stressful match, but we did it. On the play, in round number 4, I have kept this Field of the Dead hand. Maybe foolishly, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to get Tropical Island and Abundant Harvest for a land right now. That sets up Sylvan Library for turn 2, and even if they waste me, at least I have a land available. I got Verdant Catacombs. So now I can Strix or Library next turn, or a Plow, depending on what they do and how I feel about it. The Flooded Strand deck. Oh, getting Volcanic Island, though. Alright, Delver again. Hooray! Welcome to Legacy. Okay, so I can Swords to Plowshares this, or I can ignore it because it's not that strong. But I think that I want to Plow the Channeler and then cast another Harvest. And I want to get Scrubland to do this with, because Scrubland casts Strix next turn. The old Tropical Island Scrubland deck. You love to see it. Ooh, Force of Will. Pitching Preordain. Alright, that's interesting. Do they think this card is really good, or is it their only threat? Because those are the only possible explanations for that play. I'm going to Abundant Harvest. If they daze this, it's a daze that they don't have for Strix next turn, and if they don't Daze it, then I have a land to play around Daze next turn. So either way, the Abundant Harvest beats Daze. I guess not that way. That's one way it doesn't work. If they just waste me off of blue. Fair enough. Alright, but I had this anyway. You're out of here. I guess I should wait till their upkeep to play around Force of Negation, because they clearly care a lot about this card. Alright, in their upkeep, Plow. If they spell Pierce, it taps them out for their turn. If they have Force of Will, they had it anyway. They can Lightning Bolt to effectively scry, well, literally surveil. Oh, they're Grixis. That's fun. Alright. Grixis Delver is what we're playing against. Good thing we drew 2 Plows early. A Plow is such a good card. Just not even fair against these decks that are just trying to win with creatures. Like it's the medieval times. Alright, so my read that that was their only threat seems to be accurate because they didn't play anything on their turn. I do need some green or blue mana to get this game moving forward, though. I would prefer blue to start because Strix is just exactly where you want to be against decks like this. Alright, Thoughtseize probably is going to take Brainstorm, though the Sylvan Library is also a reasonable call. Alright, they took the library. Come on, blue source. Nice. Alright, we're going off now. By going off, I mean casting Baleful Strix. Strix is good in like normal circumstances, and against this anemic Delver start, it's even better. They have 2 cards left in their hand over there. Let's bury them. Alright, black, blue. I'm gonna save my land, see if Strix finds me a fetch land or something I'd rather play. So yeah, this lets me Assassin's Trophy if I want to. And I am gonna attack. Like if they want to spend Lightning Bolt on Baleful Strix to push 3 damage through when I'm at 14, that's a deal. I have the trophy, I can beat up on the Delver if I want to. So Daze, they don't want the Daze, so that's getting shuffled away. I am not gonna kill Delver with trophy until they remove my Strix. Because I'll take the block and sit on the trophy for a potential Gurmag Angler or something scarier, Murktide Regent. Like that's where I want to point my Assassin's Trophy, not at this Delver that I can just block. And Field of the Dead is 1 away from doing its thing. So here comes Strix again. Or maybe I should not attack with Strix, because they could dash Ragavan. So I'm going to play around that. I'm going to give that some respect. So Tropical Island and Sylvan Library. Here we go. I didn't Brainstorm because my hand is already full of cards that I want, and it's just not going to get better. Next turn, yeah, sure. Next turn I'll probably Brainstorm if I need to get into the Field of the Dead. They have a Brainstorm of their own. Hoping to dodge Wasteland here, but like, okay, they had the Wasteland, so it's kind of win-win, because if they waste me here, they don't get to cast that Brazen Borrower, and if they don't waste me, then I get to do Field of the Dead things. Blue, black. I'm going to start with the Strix. That just sees more cards before I have to make any decisions with Brainstorm. Let's go Brainstorm. Ooh, interesting. That actually kind of hurts a lot. So I'm going to hide the... Like, this is like mono green hand. So Brainstorm's going to be on top of my deck when the dust settles here. That's what I want to protect from their discard spells. Let's see what these 2 cards they've been holding are. Fatal Push, okay. And Brazen Borrower. That was actually a really good one to take. I'm still not going to attack out of respect for Dashed Ragavan. So I can Brainstorm now, or I can just put Yorion in my hand and Brainstorm next turn. I think that's fine. What's the rush? And now they have Brazen Borrower they can cast, so definitely leaving Strix back for that. Alright, there's Brazen Borrower. Alright, they found a Lightning Bolt. That's not bad. So they can put me to 8 here. Now I actually am on kind of a clock. I have Yorion, I can just jam. But I hope I don't have to do that. Alright, Brainstorm, save me. Alright, got there. I think Sylvan Library is past the point where it's going to do anything this game, and if my plan is loaming, then Underground Sea doesn't matter. I'm going to fetch a basic here. Basic Forest. And I'm going to Assassin's Trophy the Borrower. I guess it doesn't really matter when I do this. Their upkeep will help it resolve. But, okay. Yeah, before the draw step. Yeah, so Assassin's Trophy. They don't have any basics. That's good news. And I can pitch Yorion to force if I feel like that's a thing I need to do. Like Yorion also just blocks Delver pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, all right, I'm gonna cast Loam. Start doing. Oh god, that was even better. Never mind. White, or white, colorless, and blue. If Teferi gets in here, bounces Delver, I get to Loam, start making zombies. Yeah. We're done here. So Loam, pick up, Trop, Blue to Delta, and the other Trop. Pick those up, and then I'm going to play a fetch land because that makes 2 zombies. There's 1, and then I can pass. I could have Abundant Harvest there, I guess, but I could play around Bolt for a turn. I think that's important. Alright, Delver and that. So I'm kind of playing into Lightning Bolt here, but I have Force of Will, so there's a limit to how bad I can get. I just have to make sure to fetch something that I don't already have. I have a lot of Trops. Underground Sea I already have. I don't have a Bayou. Alright, yeah, Bayou's good. Okay, there's that. I would love to find an Uro here. Light from the Loam does help find Uro, so I am going to dredge Loam. That's 3 looks at Uro instead of 1. Then Abundant Harvest for a non-land. Perhaps Uro. Alright, Swords of Plowshares plays here really well. And Tropical Island, make a zombie. And Swords to Plowshares, the Dragon Rage Channeler. So I can attack with my zombies. And then I play Yorion and hope I'm not dead. Though it would be really hard for them to kill me from 6 through a 4/5 blocker. Alright, yeah, they're conceding. Well, that was a wild ride. Well, we're playing against Delver, so we've seen the sideboard plan already. Grixis means that I do want the Veil of Summers. Uh-oh, where did all those cards go? Endurance. Veil. Veil. Alright, so I want the Plague Engineers, especially against Grixis, because they could have something like Young Pyromancer. Hydroblast gets better here. So these cards in, we've seen it before. These in, these out. The Thought Seizes. Yep, there it is. These interactive spells out, these interactive spells in. And that's my plan. At least having played against Delver 3 times this league, it was Bug, Grixis, and Blue-Red, so at least they're kind of different decks, but this has been a whole lot of Delver. This hand looks pretty good. As always, a little soft to Wasteland, but all my hands are going to be soft to Wasteland. They have the Delver, I have the Decay. We've got this lined up so far. I'm just going to play the Verdant Catacombs. Unless they have Stifle, that guarantees that Delver gets cast next turn. Ooh, another one. So they get in with a Delver. That's fine. Just gonna play Savannah, I think. Or no, I'm gonna play Trop now that I have 2 of them. Unless I have to play around the surgical play again. That would be a tilt. Alright, here they come. Didn't flip. Alright, so now we get to play chicken with the Plague Engineer. I'm gonna take 2, just in case they play Young Pyromancer, or this card. Alright, so I'm gonna zap that. Alright, and now I can, oh no. Well, I wasn't beating Days anyway. This could take the Abrupt Decay. Do I want to Brainstorm in response? I think I do. Yeah, I'm gonna get the Underground Sea and cast Brainstorm. If they daze Brainstorm, then they have all sorts of information to work with, but my hand is just full of good cards. So I'm going to put the Decay and the Engineer on top, and then they can take the Plow. And I probably, though if the Delvers flip, it's going to be too late. Alright, I mean, don't daze me, bro. Plague Engineer's on the stack. Alright, we got a Force of Will out of it. They were going to have that anyway. So that did line up correctly. Now Abrupt Decay can decay a Delver. Oh, they're still not flipping. A sweet relief. And I can Uro plus decay this turn, because Uro gets the extra land drop. Alright, so I will play the Tundra, and then Uro off these ones, and leaving up black, and then play the Trop with the extra land, and that gives me decay, which they don't know about. And Uro is arriving next turn unless they have Graveyard Hate. There's one card in hand they've been sitting on for a while. Alright, looks like it's not Graveyard Hate. We were probably going to see the fetch here to get a shuffle before the second Delver looks. The first one missed, and you can use fetch lands to get a second look at the other one. Alright, cool. You can have a Pyroblast. I guess that is an answer to Uro that I'm not excited about, but I'll work through it. Here comes the 1/1 Delver. Sad little 1/1 Delver. Never flips. Only wishes to be a real boy one day. Let's draw a Hydroblast. That would be great. Oh god, they have Surgical, and I just drew a second Uro. No, not like this. This league has just been the story of getting wrecked by Surgical Extraction. God, this is an 80 card deck. Unreasonable. Okay, whatever. Shake it off. So I'm going to put Yorion in my hand. I'm going to need an answer to this Pyroblast, or tax the Pyroblast, or somehow get through the Pyroblast before I get to deploy Yorion. But I can at least put it in my hand. That fucking Surgical. Okay. This is where this Delver flips Revealing Thoughtseize, and then my game plan falls apart. Alright, that's alright. I'm at 16. I got life points to work with. Pyroblast in their hand answers some stuff in my deck, but not all of it. And okay, now I can Hydroblast their Pyroblast, just like it's alpha when I draw a spell to cast. Blast their blast when I have something to cast. Here comes Delver. I'm at 10. I'm starting to run out of life points at like my comfortable buffer. Deck. For real. Okay. Gonna pass. Guess maybe I'm supposed to play. No, I think having cards to brainstorm away is more important than maybe turning on Field of the Dead if I draw it. Yeah, there are 3 cards in hand at this point. Like, Lightning Bolt is just a complete beating. Ripping out my Uros. I'm getting a draw step off it too. I mean, they were smart to play their Surgical in the draw step. That was the right time to do it. For that, hit that out. And hit it they did. They're shuffling their Brainstorm. And they have True Name Nemesis. What year is it? Good thing I have 4 Plague Engineers in my deck. Too bad I'm not going to draw any of them. Alright, I'm going to concede. I'm technically at 1, but this game is over. There's no... I guess Brainstorm could change the texture of my hand enough, but yeah, that one fell right apart. Got me with the Surgical. Alright, I have 4 Plague Engineers in the deck, so I'm not going to worry about True Name Nemesis and bring Force of Wills back in. Like, I think my plan is still the same here. Alright, I got lands and spells on this 7-card hand. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to harvest for a land on turn 1. Just line up my land drops. That's how I lose this game. Just fill my hand with lands. Take Wasteland and Daze out of the equation as quickly as possible. And then their deck just has a bunch of creatures. Alright, getting Thoughtseize. Let's see what they're worried about. My guess would be Sylvan Library, but if they have Daze, then maybe they take something different. Alright, they did in fact take Sylvan Library. So I can ponder with a shuffle here. So I'm going to do that. Endurance is nice. So's the extra land, so's the Brainstorm. I'm just going to keep all this stuff. So my plan is probably to just play around Daze with these 3 drops and then start putting them on the stack. Like once I get to 4 mana. Alright, that's fine. Backing it up with Delver makes it a little less fine. So I'm drawing Endurance, or Land Endurance Brainstorm. So, or Brainstorm, I did put the Brainstorm first. Wow, I'm so smart. Okay. So Endurance does check Delver. The land I don't care as much about now. No, I know what my top 2 cards are, and I know that they're good, so I'm gonna hold on to this Brainstorm for a second. Alright, Delver didn't flip. Their deck's really bad at flipping Delver, apparently. I wonder if they actually have just a different ratio than most Delver decks of lands to spells, or if they've just been unlucky. Alright, another one. Okay, so here's Endurance. I do want to keep playing around Daze, so I'm gonna Brainstorm. If they Red Blast this, it's fine. Alright, found the Plow, which was in fact the best card I was looking for here. And then I want to put Burrow Trop on top in that order. No, I'm probably going to fetch sooner than later. So I do want the Endurance. Maybe I'll just put Delta Trop back. Delta Trop. And then I can Swords to Plowshares one of these Delvers on their turn. There aren't very many Legacy played cards that would interact now that don't interact later. Like Drown in the Lock, I guess, is a card I've seen in Legacy technically. But they can't hardcast Force of Negation off 2 lands. This deck is not going to have Counterspell in it. Take my 1 again. They're relentless Delvers. They just never stop. They can't be stopped. They're unstoppable. At least one of those things is true. Okay, so I can Burrow into their Red Blast. I could Sedgemoor Witch, but I can't currently trigger it. I think Uro makes some sense. And like, I don't even care if I get Surgicaled in this spot. Like, getting the extra life, throwing this land into play are all good things. And now this sort of puts them on, they have to have Surgical, or else Uro is threatening to arrive next turn. Right, they found Lightning Bolt. So they quickly went from representing no damage to representing 9 damage. Or 2 damage to 9 damage. It's not literally none. It's just not very much. I think Blue Blast is one of my better draws in this spot. Okay, this lets me double spell. They do have the Surgical. We see the draw step pause here. They're deciding if they want to pay life or mana for it. They've chosen life. I could have Endurance in response and bottomed my graveyard, and then I still have Uros in my deck. Maybe that's the play. Though I do really like the idea of challenging them on their own turn. Like, I get to cast Teferi now, and I have Endurance for their turn. If they have Red Blast Daze, that makes all of this really bad. I think I want to... Can I fetch basics, or have I given up on basics at this point? I've probably given up on basics. So Bayou I don't have in play yet. So I want to make sure I have double green still when the dust settles after Teferi, so I can still Uro. And I can fetch... I'm going to fetch again, because thinking about this is hard. I could just get Forest. I already have Bayou. Get another Trop. I think I do want the Forest. So, colorless, blue, white. We know they have 1 Lightning Bolt in hand. This Teferi will put them to the test. If this Teferi resolves, the game's over. But yeah, it was never going to. I think so Endurance is the important one, and I would hate for it to just get dazed. But I also don't think I have a turn to take off for Sedgemoor Witch. So do I want to just get an island? Or the Tundra? It's probably Tundra. Alright, here we go. We're dead to a daze. Alright, they didn't have daze. I am gonna go after their graveyard because they might have Gurmag Angler or Murktide Regent, both of which are cards I don't want to play around. Or don't want to play against. Oh, they could have Fatal Push. I had not considered that. Alright, True Name Nemesis. Doesn't matter a whole lot. That also takes them off their ability to bolt my endurance down. So it's time to draw Plague Engineer. Oh, baby. Alright, I'll take a Sedgemoor Witch under these circumstances. With Flusterstorm? Yes, please. So if they try to kill my Witch with this Lightning Bolt, they have to pay 3 life for Ward. After they pay 3 life, I Fluster. I get 2 Pests. And if they do anything first, then it's countered. Oh my god. They're committing double bolt to the endurance. This Flusterstorm's going to be an absolute ranching. Wow. So I get 3 pests now, and they committed a 2-for-1 into the endurance. That was insane. That was a really good draw. Okay, so I am still gonna block because I'm on a 2-turn clock anyway, and they can make it a 1-turn clock. And yeah, this actually just doesn't even matter. I need an answer to the Delver or the True Name right now, or I'm dead. Alright, let's keep the party going. So, Brainstorm. Come on, fella. Find me that Plague Engineer. Baleful Strix. That does... Oh, that blocks Delver. Okay. Baleful Strix blocks Delver. I need to tap blue and black. And I still have the blue blast up for a lightning bolt or a blue blast of their own. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am 1 short of lethal, assuming the blue blast gets cast this turn. I think all their answers to Baleful Strix are red, though I guess I just lose to Fatal Push. Alright, here they come. Oh, and I know my top card is Verdant Catacombs, so I'm gonna lose. Gurmag Angler. Yeah, that's a black card. And I don't think I can trick them into blocking one of my pests. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's not lethal. I'm gonna die to True Name Nemesis, like it's 2004. I did not mean to attack with Strix, I just sort of left-click attacked Ald. Like, basically I need them to mess this up somehow, but I don't think they even can. Like, attacking with the Strix locks them out of even making a bad play. Yep, they're at 2. Don't have Witherbloom Command, don't have Uro. That's the game. Wow, that was a tight game. True Name Nemesis showing up strong against the 4 Plague Engineer deck. Couldn't find one. That was a good game. Ah, there it was. Abundant Harvest for non-land. If I was 1 card deeper in the deck, I think we win that one. But, alright, good game. On to the final round. I'm on the play in the final round, playing for the positive record with a seriously risky one. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this. That's even worse. Mulligan. Okay, here we go. Keep, and I'm gonna put... I think I want the Quandrix Apprentice to recoup this mulligan. So I can send Assassin's Trophy to the bottom, and basically I'm deciding, like, do I want to go 0 removal and just die to Delver, or do I want to be this value hand and hope I have time to recoup my mulligan? Alright, I'm going to start on Thoughtseize and just hope that that's good enough. So Thoughtseize to clear the way for Apprentice, and then Abundant Harvest, Magecrafting a land, and then possibly doing something else sounds like the way forward from there. This is where Thoughtseize reveals 2 wastelands and the game is over. Okay, it's a Stoneblade deck. So, Force of Negation, Snapcaster Mage, Stoneforge Mystic. I'm taking Stoneforge Mystic from this hand, though Prismatic Ending does mess up my plan, but Stoneforge Mystic messes up my life, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, Prismatic Ending, assuming that it can make 2 colors of mana, which their 2 lands definitely can. that will exile my Apprentice. But if I draw a land, I can just wait, and then Apprentice plus Harvest all at once, get an extra card out it. Then the Prismatic Ending's not that bad. Or I could just harvest for a land right now and get this Uro happening. That makes sense to me. Okay. New plan. Apprentice can draw extra cards later too. Okay, cool. There's the harvest. So now we've got a plan. It's all coming together. I'm gonna fetch Tundra. Oh, I could just easily lose to Back to Basics out of this deck. But I'm just gonna hope that doesn't happen instead. I don't think I'm in a position where I can play around Back to Basics in any sort of effective way. Just try to get a row in. Nope. Prismatic Ending is so good. That hits Sylvan Library or Quandrix Apprentice. I'm into that. Oh, they missed a land drop. That's bad for them. What's bad for me is that the land I fetched does not cast Quandrix Apprentice and Abundant Harvest. Alright, so I'm just going to have to harvest for a land here and try to set up Uro for next turn. Alright, still stuck on green, but it's my own stupid fault, and without that green I don't get Uro either. They found their third land, it's Mystic Sanctuary. That's why I don't play Mystic Sanctuary, by the way. I just think that interaction is completely unpalatable. Of just not having your third land come into play untapped in a legacy deck. It's a nightmare. Alright, Uro. Let's go. Keep them coming. If this Uro can find a green source and cast Sylvan Library this turn, then they have to spend their turn ending the library instead of developing their board, which is just better for me. But that did not happen. So here we are. Plowing that Uro is kind of interesting because I already have one in the graveyard. Like, I think at this point you sort of have to wait until one of them's in play. But I guess they have the Snapcaster, so the Snap Plow does answer the second Uro as well. Alright, good call. I take it back. Instant or sorcery spell. Alright. That does not count Sylvan Library. So I'm not gonna just fetch my Uro into this Snapcaster Mage. Or am I? Probably not. So I need a green source. Probably... Oh, Flooded Strand doesn't get Bayou. So I'm just going to settle for a tropical island. And then... I should not use my green source for blue. I already have black off the swamp, so blue-green from Quandrix Apprentice. And then immediately cast Abundant Harvest. Get a trigger, even if they Snap Plow. Already got a card. JK, no cards. No cards, no love. I'm going to name non-land with this, because I'm ready for spells. Especially if Quandrix Apprentice finds more lands. My opponent in the chat said it's the second coming of Augur of Bolas, and that nothing's ever been more true. Augur of Bolas, 2 mana, 1/3. Look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. Alright, True Name Nemesis. That one's a little tougher to beat in the main deck, but I do still have 2 Plague Engineers. And I can Uro right now. If Uro finds a green land, I can also library right now, but green, green, blue, blue. I do have Snapcaster and Loam in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Clicked that wrong. Oh, no, I didn't. Nope, I'm good. Alright, left Thoughtseize and Abundant Harvest. I'm more interested in Snapcaster Mage having options than Loam. Okay, this Force of Will actually is reasonable. I can force the Plow if they cast it on their turn. Like, if they just untap Snap Plow, they could, if they have a mountain in their deck, they could Prismatic Ending Uro, but luckily he is out of reach of Prismatic Ending in a 2-color deck. Yeah, so they can Force of Negation to protect their Snapcaster on my turn. Oh, they just have Plow. That's fair. Do I want to lose Teferi to do this? I get a trigger off of Quandrix Apprentice. They can hardcast Force of Negation. It ends up being a 3 for 2. And then they still have the... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do this. Like, getting a card off Quandrix Apprentice helps mitigate this a little bit. But, oh god damn it. There goes a Plague Engineer too. I was excited to play with this card, but now I'm just not. Now it sucks. This Prismatic Ending is just dominating the game right now by keeping my Sylvan Library out of play. And now if they Snap Plow, they also have a blocker for Quandrix Apprentice. What a beating. Okay, they did not Snap Plow, so I do get to attack at least once. Luckily, being at 29 life, having 2 Uros plowed and 3 Uro triggers happened gives me a lot of cushion for the push in against True Name Nemesis. Alright, Sylvan Library. Hopefully they force... Oh, they just cast Force of Negation. They know better. Alright. So, in comes Apprentice. And I'm gonna wish for Yorion. I'm gonna play my land and then wish for Yorion, leaving up Assassin's Trophy. Okay, so they can end my Sylvan Library, and then hopefully I can just beat down with Yorion. But I know that about Snapcaster Mage already. Uh-oh, they know how that works. Snapcaster. Snapcaster is so good. God, I love blue-white decks. Baleful Strix. Alright. Black. Blue. Let's draw something that triggers Quandrix Apprentice. That does not trigger Quandrix Apprentice at all. Though, Baleful Strix does give me something worth blinking with Yorion, which I will take. So they would need Force of Will or Counterspell. I don't think this deck has Daze in it. It could have Counterspell, though. Hopefully it just doesn't. Alright, Force of Will, pitching Snapcaster. Okay, so the Snapcaster was an oppressive force over this whole game, and now it was just exiled. I'll take a 2-for-1 off that Yorion. That was a free card. So that was a 2-for-0, like, big picture. Oh, they do have red. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. That was a good one. Okay, so I'm going to have to Assassin's Trophy the Sword of Fire and Ice, but that ramps them so they're 1 mana away from Kaldra. Yeah, I think my opportunity to do anything important this game has come and gone. Yeah, drawing more Polluted Delta is not where I wanted to be on that one. Might as well attack with Strix. So, trophying now makes it more likely to resolve, but trophying on there, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if they have the land, they get to Kaldra me. So, here we are. About to get wrecked by Hardcast Kaldra. Oh, didn't have the land. It's a Christmas miracle. Do I have any answers to a Kaldra in my deck? No. Just Thoughtseize. Yeah, literally in the whole 75, there's nothing that can remove a Kaldra from play. Or a Kaldra equipped Germ, I should say. Now they have Batterskull and Kaldra. That's alright. I couldn't beat either of them. But now they have both. Okay. Time to ponder. Ponder, save me. Oh, wait. I have Swords of Plowshares in my deck. I'm like, no, literally no outs to a Kaldra. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Yes, I do. Alright. Do I have to shuffle this? Because even if I plow the Kaldra, they gain 5 life. Then they just move Kaldra onto something else. I am going to shuffle this. And concede. Yeah, Plow wasn't winning that game. Like, I needed to string together some sort of Hail Mary of, like, Uro into more things. And, like, I just wasn't winning the game from this spot with the Kaldra looming. How about Quandrix Apprentice, by the way? Doing absolutely nothing. That was not good. Alright, so Flusterstorms are good. I like those. I don't like Force of Negation so much. Though it is likely to get to a point where I'm hard casting that in this matchup. Oh, I also have Teferi. I have multiple answers to a Kaldra. I need to relax. Plague Engineer is coming in. They did a lot of work with that True Name Nemesis. Their old school Stoneblade True Name Nemesis is still one of the best creatures to ever carry a weapon. There are 4 cards I need to cut from this deck. Endurance. Endurance can snipe a Snapcaster Mage, but I think mostly doesn't matter that much. especially if they're going to bring in Rest in Peace. I don't know if they're going to do that, but they're a white deck, so it's possible, and I am an Uro deck, so it's possible that Rest in Peace is just going to be in play anyway. And I'm going to cut Quandrix Apprentice as punishment for doing a bad job last round. That's only half a joke. That I do think playing to the board makes sense, and Quandrix Apprentice did not do what it was supposed to. Loam, Uro. I do have 6 things here that are really bad. I think I'm going to cut one of the Loams. Like, if they do get onto Graveyard Hate, if they do have Rest in Peace, Uro at least still cantrips and gains life along the way, but Loam just doesn't do anything. This is what I'm going to do. Alright, I mean, I can harvest for a land. Keep it going. That's at least two lands to play the game on. I have the one of Quandrix Apprentice. It's seeking redemption. So I can play Apprentice next turn. They have a Flooded Strand, probably Pondering. If they didn't have Back to Basics game 1, they definitely have it now. Alright, Quandrix Apprentice, get in. And then I need to draw a black source to cast this Thoughtseize before I die to Back to Basics. Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, I have Swords to Plowshares for that one. And I get my draw step plus Quandrix Apprentice trigger to find a black land for Thoughtseize. They got Batterskull off of that, by the way. Alright, please work. Swords to Plowshares is on the stack. Found a black source. Did it resolve? Yeah, it hit. My opponent is celebrating with me in the chat. You're right, it did hit this time. And I think I want Underground Sea. So hopefully we'll hit another land drop off this Quandrix and take the Back to Basics out of their hand. Didn't hit. Didn't hit. So here comes Thoughtseize. So they have Pyroblast, Brainstorm, Teferi, Force Negation. Teferi is pretty good. Kinda, I guess. Like, is it better than these multiple Brainstorms? I'm not convinced. I could take Pyroblast, though I'm not sure if they want to be Pyroblasting my Apprentice. I'm going to take Teferi, because this Flusterstorm on my hand is pretty good, except for that Teferi being a confounding factor. So in for 2. Here comes a Brainstorm. There's the Mountain. Alright, they found Plow. My poor Flusterstorm. I miss you and I love you. Okay, that was a good draw. I don't think I'm going to want to Fluster a Pyroblast on the front half of Uro, but having Flusterstorm around just feels good. Ooh, Field of the Dead. That is something of a trump in these blue-white matchups. A Brainstorm is fine. Can't counter it even if I wanted to. There's the tapped Mystic Sanctuary again, the Legacy Classic. Here's a land that does not cast Uro, another Legacy Classic. So I want to play Plague Engineer and just name Rogue. True name Nemesis is a Merfolk Rogue. I don't know if they have any other rogues in the deck, but they definitely don't have any other Merfolk. I think Brazen Borrower is a rogue. Alright. Is it Uro time? It's definitely Field of the Dead time. So blue, blue, green, green, with Flusterstorm backup, it can happen. I need to get a land with a different name, so I need a tropical island here. Alright, this is the first time we've really been in Field of the Dead. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can Uro, they red blast it. I'm going to attack first, because if they were planning on ambushing this with the Snapcaster Mage or anything in combat, I want them to build up. I'm actually not going to Uro. I'm just going to put Yorion in my hand and pass the turn. If they're going to hold up Red Blast for Uro, I'm just not going to play a red card. Oh shit, they do have another Merfolk. Now who's an idiot? It's me. I could have... Oh my god. That's so funny. I have the second Plague Engineer. I could have wiped out the whole plan here, and instead I'm just... Alright, Merfolk Tribal. Jeskai Merfolk. Now I know I'm playing against Jeskai Merfolk.
I deserve this. Right, well, they don't have attacks or blocks, really. So at least Field of the Dead continues to be bullshit. I will attack. I'll offer the trade with my engineer. They don't seem to want to take it. I don't understand why. Alright, here's another one of these. This one will name Merfolk. Actually, this one will probably name Wizard. Like, that gets the Snapcaster Mage, and like, I'm already not killing Hull Breacher. I'm not going to plan to draw a third Plague Engineer. I don't think that's the play. I'm in some trouble to a Supreme Verdict, but they didn't fetch white when they could have. So I don't think that's what's happening to me. Oh, they're just casting the Batterskull. That's pretty good. Okay, so a removal spell for Hull Breacher would be great. Ponder doesn't help me. I think I want to attack with the Plague Engineers. I'm like pretty okay getting a trade off of either of these creatures. Oh, I've made a huge mistake. I hope they don't block. I could Yorion reset the Plague Engineers. Yeah, I just fucked that up. Okay. Whoops. Alright, so what can I do here? I can put Uro into play. I think I just need a Yorion and pretend I didn't just want that real bad. Apparently I have not tapped the correct mana. It's true, I haven't. White, blue, 1, 2, 3. That'll do. Yep, made a lot of mistakes this game. Do have the Fluster for that at least. And now I have a creature that is larger than Batterskull, and I can flicker the Plague Engineer, name Merfolk, and make it untapped, which is really important. So exile this, just that one, and it comes back naming Merfolk. What a comedy of errors this has been. I hope it doesn't matter. I hope we're far enough ahead that I just get to win anyway, but I do not deserve it. That's definitely the case. But I have a giant flying 4/5 now. I do play a lot of removal in my deck, so at some point I'll be able to remove the Hull Breacher and go to town with Uro. I can just put Uro into play, gain 3 life, and give them a treasure, and then I have a 6/6 at least. Like, that is a consideration that, I mean, when my hand runs out of things to do, I will probably make that play. They've ripped apart my Plague Engineer. Okay. That doesn't answer Yorion. I get to attack with my Zombos this turn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can equip Batterskull and crack back for 7. I'm still netting damage. Alright, let's go. Maybe they'll panic and block, but I doubt it. Alright, yes, take your damages. With this zombie, plus, I'm gonna play the Uro. They can have a treasure. They have so much mana. I don't think a treasure is gonna make or break this game. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards exiled. Enjoy your treasure. I will gain 3 life and put a 6/6 into play. Or not. Or I'll just get a card out of your hand. That's a deal. Yeah, not bad. I'll take that. So if they can equip and attack for 7 vigilance, then that's fine. That spends their turn. Eventually I'll draw a removal spell. Yeah. Fair enough. And then the zombies can triple block it next turn. And then Yorion is still dominating the air. Another terrible card, because Hull Breacher is really good. Attack with Yorion. Maybe I should be pondering. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess actually a treasure does give them Cauldra. But I'm not super worried about Cauldra. I am actually going to ponder here just for the card selection. Okay, yeah, Swords of Plowshares is a very good card that I'm interested in having. Do not shuffle my deck. And I will pass the turn. Okay, they had a red blast for Yorion, but they chose to take 4 anyway. It's probably a reason for that. Oh god, Jace. Oh no, they're gonna Fate Seal me, and I just kept that Ponder. Oh no, they're gonna bounce so they can attack. Okay, that's better. That's so fine.
I'm going to take 7 because my zombies can attack back and kill Jace. So I guess if I have Swords of Plowshares, one zombie would have done it anyway. Alright, please don't have Force of Will. Do they still have this Force Negation? I've lost track. Okay, so Uro, come back. You can blame it all on me. Blue and blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get back in here. Okay, so Uro's in. We're out of the tyrannical clutches of Hull Breacher for now. I'm going to attack Jace with both of these creatures. I'm not going to miss my chance to a Snapcaster Mage. And then I'm going to harvest for a non-land. Or harvest for a land. Okay, it doesn't matter. They're just flustering it. Yeah, that's fine. Getting their value where they can still find some. Because Flusterstorm's not going to get much at this point of the game. But it does get that. Alright. Go ahead. They're back at 19. They were at 5 a second ago. Or they were at 2 at one point, right? I think I had them at 2 on one attack. Yeah. And they're back up to 19. Back to basics. Yes. That was a thing that I was aware could happen. Luckily, Field of the Dead isn't super worried about that. They perfectly played around by Thoughtseize by going Hellbent. Right, Uro, deliver. Uro did not deliver. But we are still beating down. I'll take it. Right, so they can pick up Batterskull. It cost them a land forever. But... oh, they had the treasure. That's right. Never mind. Treasure and land are comparable things in this board state. So they can redeploy Batterskull. Now they have 1 card in hand. 1 Great Mystery. Now 0 mysteries. Another Thoughtseize. So, if I attack with everything, they can block Zombie to take 8 damage minus 4. They take 4. If they chump Uro, they take 0. Alright, I just want to attack with Uro and overwhelm this germ over time. Like, I can double block with zombies. Yeah, because if they block a zombie, they gain 4 now, plus they get the vigilance attack, and then they gain another 4. So yeah, just attacking with Uro is the call. And someday, I'll cast a spell. But back to basics is real good. Do they have a second Mystic Sanctuary? Alright, no they do not. Oh, my Thoughtseize. My poor Thougeize. You're not an instant. Which is good for Magic the Gathering, but sucks for me right now. I also realized I'm somehow at 7 minutes on my clock to their 14. So I better pick it up. Alright, so they get to snap Plow here, get rid of Uro. But that means I do get to Thoughtseize the Batterskull, at least. And land drops are still zombies here. Well, there's Force of Will right on time. So I'll attack first. I'm winning the race right now. But they don't know that, which means they might not block, and then my Thoughtseize gets to clip the Batterskull. It's out of here. Okay, I have Force of Will now. I can do something. At some point I'll draw a fetch land for Basic Island, then we're just unlocked. No way, Jose. Pitching Ponder might have been better than pitching Brainstorm there, but I'm playing fast and loose to try to get this game over with. I think I'd rather Uro than Ponder if I'm gonna pick between them. Because Uro can hit another land and keep this party going. I did not do that, but the chance was there. We are representing lethal in 2 turns. Here we go. Yeah, the choice there was absorb damage, take lethal off board, or draw to your out of Sword of Fire and Ice. Jesus. Alright, the game continues. Whoa. I accidentally misclicked there, and that might have messed up my combat. Like, I misclicked through my first main, almost misclicked through my whole turn, but luckily missed that. But if I ponder into Plague Engineer here, I just missed 4 damage, which is not where I want to be, obviously, but I am happy to find this. I'm not going to shuffle that. Hitting more land drops to go wide around field while protecting myself with Force of Will sounds like a fine plan right now. I'm at 21 life. I'm not going to lose the race. Then another one of these. And ponder. I think I want to shuffle this. Just looking for that Plague Engineer. And that is 6 damage. Woof. Made some suboptimal choices that game, I'm pretty sure, but managed to get through it. Now I got 6 minutes to win the last one. I think I need to just go like turbo aggro and try to beat them down. Force of Negation. Though they do have Jace, more than one Jace, so I want to respect that a little bit. Hull Breacher's terrifying. Thoughtseize is still really good. Maybe a little thinner on the Uros. Oh, Endurance doesn't bash through True Name Nemesis. Oh, maybe Loam just isn't where I want to be. Okay, this is my deck. This deck's going to have a hard time winning in 6 minutes, but I'm just going to play really fast, which might result in mistakes made, but gotta do what I gotta do. That's a mulligan. That's a keep. And I'm going to send Endurance to the bottom. Or no, I'm going to send Assassin's Trophy. With Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy, I can sort of hedge my bets, keep one or the other. Ponder. It's in there. I'm going to Thoughtseize. Their deck has a lot of powerful turn 2 plays, mostly Stoneforge Mystic. So Teferi is good. Brazen Borrower is not good. Alright, I'm going to take Snapcaster Mage from this. And I did find my land, so I can Ponder. And another Ponder is not bad. I'll take that. And then I'm going to get... Oh, shit. I should get... I want Tropical Island. I'm actually just going to pass, though, because if they found Back to Basics right now, I'm going to lose. If I tap out. Alright, they have Teferi. I can decay that. They drew the card right away. They know I have removal. So I can Ponder and then decay if I want to. So decay this and just hope that they did not draw Back to Basics. Because Endurance with Flusterstorm backup is my new plan. They have a Brainstorm, a land, and Stoneforge Mystic. That sucks. I have Plow though, we're good. Okay, so that means I have to fetch, I think, Savannah with this. So, Savannah, Plow this, get out. I'm doing it now because I can fluster a Force of Will. Now I know they're holding Sword of Fire and Ice and Brazen Borrower. So I'm kind of hoping they just commit Brazen Borrower as an attacker right now. Just fire it in, give up on the petty theft. Alright, so there's Borrower. And then next turn they can cast Sword of Fire and Ice and equip it. And I can block with Endurance. And if that doesn't work, I can... What do I want to do here? I guess I'm just going to cast Endurance. Alright, so knock down their graveyard. If I Assassin's Trophy them, they get to cast Swords to Plowshares, so I'm just going to take the trade because I don't have the Flusterstorm up. Gotta find a win condition now. That's not it. Alright. I would feel fine about this game except for the clock. They have at least one more answer in their hand. I know they have Hull Breacher in their deck, but I have the Trophy. Green, black. Zap that. Flusterstorm. Let's do this. Alright, so flustered their thing. Get to kill Hull Breacher. Get to Brainstorm. And put back 2 lands, sure. God, if they just jam Jace here. Yep. Alright, now I feel bad about this game. They have a land and a Rest in Peace. Okay. So I was right to suspect Rest in Peace could be in their deck. Alright, I don't think we're winning this one. Don't even worry about the clock. This game is not one we're gonna get away with. Yeah, okay, I'll just concede. Yeah, that Jace is gonna run away. I don't have an answer. If I found Trophy right now, there would be more game to play, but especially with the Rest in Peace, our fastest clock isn't gonna happen. Alright. That didn't go as well as I thought it would. We played against Delver 3 times, and I would think looking at the list on paper that it's just sort of like made to farm Delver, but that wasn't really the case. It was actually pretty mediocre. There was a lot of times where the mana didn't line up right, or I just got wastelanded, and like normally you can lean into wasteland with a deck like this and just have so many basics that it doesn't matter if you get wasted. But when you have so many non-basics over so many colors that even like a mid-game wasteland, like a turn 6 wasteland, can still take you off a color, that is a problem in deck building. So I think that this deck would be better if it was just bug. Like, give up on Swords to Plowshares, play more Abrupt Decays, play some Fatal Push, get rid of Teferi, put another Endurance in there if you want. Sedgemoor, which was a fun experiment, but didn't really fly, so whatever. That's another flex slot. But yeah, max out your Fatal Push, or not Fatal Push, max out Abrupt Decay 4. I'd probably have 3 trophies, and then like 2 Fatal Push with that. Replace Teferi with a second main deck Endurance, and that's the deck. You'll have to reconfigure the lands, because that takes 3 land names out of the deck for Field of the Dead, but I'm pretty sure you could figure it out. Like, there's still room for a Snow Swamp in this deck, or a regular swamp. There is a Snow Swamp. A regular swamp, like, that's another land name. And so Bayou Field plus the 6 base, yeah, that's enough right there. You'll get where you want to go. That's what I would do with this deck. Hunter, thanks for submitting this. Drop a color, just play your bug, and you'll have a better time. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave your comments, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.